Dre Spectre Boxing here with another video. As always, like, comment, subscribe, show your boy some love. Hey, and don't forget, hit that bell notification, that way you can keep up to date on the latest content from my channel. Dre Spectre Boxing here again with another one. As always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification. You want to stay updated on the latest content from the channel. Let's go with Keith Thurman. Man, where have you been? I've heard so many welterweight names being mentioned right now at the top of boxing, and you hear the obvious: Terrence, Bud Crawford, Earl Spence down with injury. But then you also hear the other champ, Manny Pacquiao, and then you start to hear Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia. But the forgotten, and I hear people even mention Ugas at this point. But the forgotten champ is, the forgotten guy at 147 is Keith Thurman. And I don't know what has happened. Like, people have wrote him off. Like, I don't even understand it. They've been talking about potential opponents for Terrence Bud Crawford. Well, where does Keith Thurman come in at the mix? Who should he be fighting next? Like, should he be trying to regain a belt, a championship belt? And it's only three ways that he can do that. He has to fight one of the three champs, and that would be Earl Spence, Terrence Bud Crawford, or Manny Pacquiao. He has to find some type of way to get back to the top of the boxing, as in the welterweight division, or challenge back for that top spot. The only way he can do that is to either avenge his loss versus Pacquiao or challenge Bud Crawford at this point, because Earl Spence is down at the moment. I don't know if he's trying to find a new opponent or what's going on with that. Until he returns, those are the two options really for him, unless he wants a tune-up, or maybe to challenge another guy before he, another top guy before he fights Manny Pacquiao or Terrence Crawford. But he's been doing a lot. I've seen him on PBC shows doing some announcing, some commentating, and that's about it, man. You don't hear anything about what's next for Keith Thurman. I haven't heard anything. If you guys know something that I don't know, let me know, because this guy has really kind of disappeared. I've seen nothing from Keith Thurman, no intentions. What's going on with him? Where's his promotions? What is he doing? Is he training? Is he, where is he at mentally? Is he 1 foot out of the door, like as far as in boxing? Is this guy getting ready to retire? Is he gonna go up in weight? Like, there's a lot of variables and nobody has an answer. But not only does nobody have an answer, nobody's talking about this guy. Nobody's mentioning his name. He's not an opponent on the list of anyone. He could have rematched Danny Garcia at this point, better than the fight that Danny Garcia has coming up in January. I'm not even trying to talk about that fight. That shit's so trash. So what's next for Keith Thurman? Like, do y'all remember that he exists? When Bud Crawford is going through his week and they're mentioning other fighters he should challenge, I think Keith Thurman is one of those guys that he should be putting on his resume. He probably doesn't have a belt, but he still is a top welterweight, in my opinion. Top 5 welterweight. That loss to Manny Pacquiao didn't discourage me from dropping Keith Thurman to out of the top 5. Actually, I thought it was a closer fight, and Keith made up a lot of ground in that fight. And a rematch, wouldn't be out of the question. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch, Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, but not before I would see a unification. I want to see unification fights at this point, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd rather see Pacquiao fight Bud Crawford or Earl Spence. I don't want to see the rematches yet. I really would like to see some unification so we can get something close to an undisputed champ at 147, or just some more competitive matches, man. I'm tired of seeing these guys all get these little, cherry pick fights or constantly doing rematches. I want to see unifications. I think that's what the goal is. As a champion, you're supposed to unify, so that you, without a doubt, without a question, show that you're the baddest man at your weight. You challenge the other champions and show who is the true, champion of that weight. And right now, I don't think we have a true champion at 147. I think it's still wide open. I think Earl Spence is the closest by being a unified champion, but he still would have to unify with another one of those guys for me to see him as the out front guarantee, best guy at 147, which I feel he is, but that's sort of biased because that's just my thought of what could happen or what should happen. But it still has to transpire. No matter what I guess and what I think or anybody else guess and think, these guys still would have to fight each other. I can't guess that this fighter is going to beat everybody. He has to go in the ring and prove all that. So, again, what's next for Keith Thurman, man? He has to create some type of buzz for himself. He has to come back, and if he does come back, who is he going to fight? That's very important. Is he waiting on for Manny Pacquiao to announce his next opponent? Like, I really don't understand his angle and why he's been disappeared from the sport at this point. He should have had another fight, or he should be projected to be coming back with another fight sometime soon. Will he get a rematch with Sean Porter? I think that would be a good match for him. Or would he challenge Ugas? Ugas being, I think, a mandatory under one of the belts. I want to say maybe WBC. So would he challenge Ugas? So who could he fight at this point? To get some buzz back around himself. But I would like to see him, go after some of the big guys, the guys who has the belts, who has the championship. Don't sit around and wait and let your name just fade again, because I think that's what happened to him last time. Keith Thurman was at the top of the welterweight division a couple years ago, man. And the inactivity, the disappearance, and this guy does is he's notorious for being inactive and also disappearing off the scene. You don't hear interviews. You don't hear from him. This guy just totally disappears. Has all these injuries unknown injuries and unannounced, and then he pops back up on the scene and say, well, I had an injury and that's why I stayed out so long. At this point, this shit is starting to get old, and you lose your fame, so to speak. Nobody knows about you. Nobody's thinking about you anymore. Nobody's talking about you. Your name's not in the air, so the people will forget about you. And I think the people have forgotten about Keith Thurman already. I think they're kind of tired of this disappearing act, because you don't even hear in the media people mentioning his name. You hear at all the welterweight events, nobody is saying Keith Thurman. Nobody is saying Keith Thurman. They're saying Manny Pacquiao. They're saying Crawford. They're even saying Porter with the one loss. But that's because Porter is staying more active and is it more so in interviews and more so, in the spotlight. As opposed to Keith Thurman, who also had a close decision loss, but nobody's saying his name no more. You know what I mean? It's like he's been written off. And I think that's partially, again, up to it. That's his fault at this point. But that's all I got for you. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this forgotten champ at 147. And what's next, or what you think is next for Keith Thurman.